In 2015, after many years of classic hit after hit, the world was introduced to a new style and form of Veggietales. This series brought us hyperactive animation, confusing morals, and many, many angry nerds and homeschooled kids. These were the dark years. These were the years of Veggietales in the house. And the city. Now, after 4 years of darkness, there was finally a light at the end of the tunnel. And there was much rejoicing. Once again, we were promised, have we got a show for you? I'm SDA Storyteller, and today we will review Veggietales, the best Christmas gift. Was it a return to form? Was it all flash and no substance? Was Mr. Nether's voice changed at the last second? Let's find out.
Ho, 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 it's time for the show.
Ho, 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 it's time for the show.
Ho, 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 it's time for the
show.
show. Curtain in 10 seconds.
Oh dear.
So if you haven't seen the trailer yet, here's a brief synopsis. The Veggies plan to put on a show about Christmas. They ask, what hope does Christmas give us in a chaotic world? Along the way, there's music, there's comedy, and Easter eggs galore. Fun for the whole family. Now, to break down our review today, we're going to do it as different individual pieces. We're going to look at the story, we're going to look at the animation, and we're going to look at the voice acting and the music. So here we go.
I think we need to tell off a
Story. The story is typical of Veggietales, nothing mind-blowing. The backstage story is that after reading a letter from a kid named Arthur, Bob wants to put on a Christmas show, and he wants it to be amazing, a classic. But then he needs to learn that Christmas is more than just a commercial holiday. It gives us hope in tough times.
tough times. Tough times.
On stage, while we start with Archibald's Christmas food song, we get to the heart of the story, which is the birth of Christ. Junior, the junior shepherd,
I'm Junior, the junior shepherd.
finds himself on a journey to Bethlehem to witness the birth of Jesus. I'm sure you've heard this story.
Over and over again.
This whole sequence is nice, and it will make you smile, but I'd argue Little Drummer Boy did a little bit better. An interesting thing about the show, the one on stage that is that the show actually pauses at times to go off and give the audience a little bit of backstory on certain words and certain parts of the Bible.
And Christ is a Greek translation of a Hebrew word.
If Christ is the Greek word, what's the Hebrew word?
Messiah!
Which kind of made this feel a little bit more like What's in the Bible than Veggietales. The whole program ends with Oh Goliath, a version of Oh Christmas Tree, which was cute, not my favorite part of the show, but definitely fun. All in all, the whole episode felt like a Veggietales album, like a Veggietales Christmas album. If you ever heard The Incredible Singing Christmas Tree, or the Very Veggie Christmas, that's exactly what it felt like. The story was driven by the music and loosely strung together by a message. It's weird that there was no intro to the characters in something that's essentially a new series. Like, I'm sure that the characters you already know, but if you were new to the show, you'd have no idea who any of these people were. Maybe Bob, they say Bob a lot, and Junior.
I'm Junior, the junior shepherd.
But say I had kids and I was introducing them to Veggietales through this, I feel like they might be a little lost. But hey, this is technically supposed to be episode 2. If you listen to the audio commentary, they mentioned that they boosted this one up for a Christmas release. So maybe whenever we get to see episode 1, it's going to work out. Anyway, I'm letting it slide, and I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10. Nothing special, but it was nice to get back to basics. Okay, now for the voice and music. As previously mentioned, it felt like a Veggietales Christmas album, which, isn't a terrible thing. The music was fun, it wasn't too silly or mellow. There was about 7 songs if you include the theme. We've got the Veggietales theme song, the 2010 version. I like the stage. It was fun to see Bob and Larry in formal attire. And while I was hoping for something bigger, it was cool. I mean, you've heard it before. I'm not going to hold it against them, though. And apparently, there is a whole new song coming up, theme for the show. So we can look forward to that.
No matter what your grumpy mood, you can't resist this
Christmas
Christmas food.
Similar to the Polish Christmas food song, which was on the very Veggie Christmas album, and eventually in one of the Christmas episodes of Veggietales, Archibald sings about food from around the world, specifically Christmas food, while freaking out Jimmy and Jerry. It's kind of educational. Now, this is based on an experience Phil Vischer had where his mom went off and gave them, I can't remember, some Japanese food for Easter, and how Phil and his siblings were not impressed. I did think it was a little weird that the European continent was divided into countries while the African continent was just Africa. I'm not going to try to make anything out of it. I'm sure it was just an oversight, but it perpetuates the image that Africa is just one unified culture, as opposed to being as diverse as Europe or Oceania or the Americas. Sorry, Antarctica.
I'm Junior the Junior Shepherd. I'm not
Junior
very
the
happy
Junior
today.
Shepherd.
I'm Junior Shepherd.
Nice song.
My
Very straightforward.
grumpiness won't go away.
That is all.
We are wise men from afar. We are
Wiseman. Why did Madame Blueberry sing Wiseman several times, then correct Jimmy and Jerry for not calling them wise persons?
I prefer the term wise persons.
Then proceed to sing We Are Wise Men. Whatever. I kind of like this song. A little out of character for Larry to say, let's stick with the story, as he is notorious for being the silly one. He's just pissed someone else is being funny instead of him.
Hang on to your hats!
Let there be joy, let there be joy, let there be joy. Messiah is here.
Let There Be Joy. This is the best song in the episode. The peas in heaven singing, best use of stage and setting and characters. Woo! This was the best part of the show. The only song I would sing or listen to after this episode. And look, the peas are having so much fun. Kingdom of God. Beautiful song. I like the harmonies and the message. Oh, Goliath. Cute and a little weird, but, nothing out of the Veggie ordinary. The voices were okay. We got our regular Phil Vischer and Mike Naraki, and of course Lisa Vischer is back, voicing her character.
I'm Junior the Junior Shepherd.
It's nice to hear Junior sounding like Junior again. And we have a couple new ones. We have Stephanie Sutherland as Madame Blueberry.
I prefer the term wise persons.
She was also in The Flash and Legends of Tomorrow, just as extra voices. We have Kira Buckland as Petunia.
Dear Bob and Larry, Christmas is coming, and I know I should be excited, but I'm not.
She was in more things than I care to name, but most relevant to me are Soul Calibur 6 as Talim.
I can buckle down when I need to.
And Wakfu's Evangeline.
Ladies and gentlemen, please excuse us for this little technical problem.
And finally, as we're all surprised to hear, Mr. Nether is voiced by David Mann.
I thought you say there'd be a Christmas tree. Now, what kind of Christmas show doesn't have a Christmas tree?
Who's David Mann, you ask? Well, he's most known for being in Tyler Perry movies. But most recently, I came across this.
We're the man. I'm Tamala Man. And I'm David Mann, comedian, actor, alligator wrestler. Hurry!
Okay.
What the? Hey, David, don't put no rat in here! I'm serious! Quit! No! Hey, y'all, I told y'all to put no rats. Y'all know I don't do rats.
Yep, that's Mr. Nether, folks. I'm pretty sure there are many episodes out there recorded with Phil's voice.
Ho, 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 it's time for the show. Curtain in 10 seconds.
But I don't hate David's voice here. I can get used to it, and it's nice to have a black member of the Veggietales cast. Before we all freak out, let's just give him a chance, or we might end up with more... Okay, voice stuff and music, 7 out of 10. The voices were better than the songs, but hey, I liked it. Okay, gang, let's talk about animation. Okay, first a little bit about me. I'm an animator. I worked on several TV shows, including Loud House, the Tangled animated series, and Wildcrats. And I realize sometimes people have deadlines and things get missed, but I'm just going to go rapid fire on a lot of my issues and even the praises I have for the technical aspect of this show. First things first, the animation team needs to familiarize themselves more with the Veggietales series because, look, sometimes things just move weird. Archibald's tie in one scene kind of moves up and down as he talks. It's supposed to be around his neck, not around his chin. Characters just die on stage. They just stop and stare pointlessly into the abyss when they're not the center of attention. It's strange. There's clipping. That's when one piece from underneath comes out in front. There's some weird lip sync. The mouth shapes are off in a lot of cases, like they're faces that Veggie characters don't normally make. Larry's tooth disappears in a couple scenes. Larry's eyes look worried when he's supposed to be happy. Things don't move with the eyes, like Nether and Goliath's eyes have some weird things where, like, I mean, I've already spoken about Nether's eyebrows, but like Goliath's wrinkle underneath his eye doesn't move with the rest of his eye. It's strange. Anyway, good things though. The show is more shiny, it's fuller looking, lots of great lighting effects. They use the stage setting very well with lots of beautiful matte paintings. I think one of the matte paintings looks like a reuse from Robin Good. And it makes a lot of sense. It's a good way of keeping the budget down and making more Veggietales episodes. So this is essentially TV animation. So there's bound to be some screw-ups here and there. And it's not like there weren't issues in the old Veggietales. It's just a shame, but understandable shame. So I'm going to give it a rating of 6 out of 10, giving the overall rating for this show about a 6.5 out of 10.
Oh, Millward, I'm sorry.
That's okay, Cavis.
Sorry this is delaying my work on other stuff. I just wanted to get this review out of the way so you guys had something and you guys would know what I thought of this new episode. Let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, like, share, subscribe, all the usual stuff, you know. Oh, and real quick, just to let you guys know, it was like Star of Christmas and 'Twas the Night Before Easter, but it was better than 'Twas the Night Before Easter, not quite as good as Star of Christmas. But it had enough stuff that made it different from Star of Christmas that, you know, it's still worth watching. Anyway, remember, God made you special, He loves you very much, and SDA Storyteller out.
Oh well, does anyone want some eggnog?
I do.